I think, my sense is that at TYT, they saw Hassan make just a ton of money and have a huge amount of success. And I think there was, in certain parts of TYT, there was resent.
Sam Seder of the Majority Report was a guest on the Vanguard show, and he talked about the perceived move to the right by Ana Kasparian and the Young Turks. There's been a lot of criticism over Ana Kasparian over this, and there also has seemed to have been some friction between Sam Seder and Ana Kasparian about some of her right-wing views. We're going to take a look at clips from the Vanguard with Sam Seder. I'll share my thoughts from time to time as well. This is a really good one. Let's check this out together.
I feel like a lot of people, they just realize, oh yeah, hey man, a lot of dumb people will watch right-wing YouTube and they'll praise me and they'll send me super chats and I won't have to stand on my feet for 8 hours a day. I won't have to work in a cubicle. I can be praised all day. And I don't know about you, but Gavin and I have been scratching our heads over here. We're not sure if it's something in the water over in that particular part of California, if we're going to be revealed that, whatever the treatment facility is under some sort of like an Enron scandal of the modern age where the water's just no good at the faucets of the Young Turks network. But we've seen Dave Rubin, who I think fits that description of Tim Pool to a T. And then you have Jimmy Dore, who also, he can't resist. He has to go down the right-wing rabbit hole, right? He has to go and humiliate himself. But now we're seeing a third barrel or a third individual start to circle the drain. And I want to know what you think about it, because Ana Kasparian has recently announced her unalignment from the political left. She said she no longer feels that she can be considered one of us in times like this. And she wants to talk about the real grifters, not Jimmy Dore, not Dave Rubin, not the litany of conservatives that are making money hand over fist defending and rampaging on behalf of the criminal, bloodthirsty siege of the people in the Gaza Strip. I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see, Sam. But she says the real grifters are the progressive branded nonprofits that have repeatedly misused public funds. Why won't the left call them out? And she goes on to talk about how she's voting against an increase in taxes for nonprofits to prevent homeless people because she still wants to be able to complain about it as her number one issue, in my view. She says, I'll be voting no on Measure A, which is to plan to raise another $1 billion through what she calls a regressive sales tax to build homeless shelters, housing, and other services. So the big grift is taking away money from the hard-earning people like Anna and giving it to homeless shelters and other NPO organizations that are interested in combating what is a serious crisis in Southern California. But that's not all. If you go back a little further, you could see her most recent article where she talks about how gangs are taking over Aurora, which is a suburb outside of Denver. I happen to have spent a lot of time in, and I can report back safely that there are no gangs taking over this poor suburban enclave, as even their Republican mayor notes. So I'm just wondering, what is it that makes people do this ideological pivot in their late 30s?
Well, and just to add to that Aurora thing, 2 points. I can't help myself. One, the Aurora thing, it turns out those guys in that video weren't even part of a gang. That video that went viral, apparently coming out of Aurora, I guess it was like a week or two ago, the police said they're not part of a gang. I'm not familiar with Measure A, although I do think sales taxes, I do have a problem with sales tax being a little regressive. I would do a different type of taxation, but I don't think that's her point. I think, I mean, look, I came from this. I came from a world where, you know, I was working with a lot of people who had when I left that world, you know, at least in terms of professionally, had, you know, a decent amount of celebrity or fame. And there's obviously in show business, you run into a lot of people who sort of like really want celebrity and and money, of course. I mean, look, I want to be able to make money. But I think part of, like, I don't know if it's a function of LA, to be honest with you, or, but part of it is, like, for people, they get super excited about the celebrity aspect of it and the money aspect. And it's, you guys know it's hard work. And I think, my sense is that at TYT, they saw Hassan make just a ton of money and have a huge amount of success. And I think there was, in certain parts of TYT, there was resent. And, I don't know Ana particularly well. I'm not sure that we've ever actually met in person.
Well, she's a big fan of ours, though, so I'm sure she's watching, Sam.
But I get the sense that she's watched our program too. I mean, look.
One thing that I would say here really quickly is Sam Seder talks about that maybe Ana Kasparian is jealous of Hassan Piker because of the success that he's had. I'm sure that Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are doing well as well. I mean, they've got a big operation there and everything, so they'd have a lot of employees that would be being paid. But with the views they're getting, they have to be making quite a bit of money. But I would slightly disagree with Sam Seder here because Hassan Piker has never made any rightward shift that I'm aware of. Most people would consider Hassan Piker to definitely be on the left, and there's no shift to the right that he has made. So I don't know why Ana Kasparian, if she's jealous of the money, if Hassan Piker had just done some kind of right-wing grift like Dave Rubin, who used to be on the Young Turks, then maybe she would say, hey, Hassan went to the right and now he's making all of this money. I'm going to do that too. But the fact that Hassan is still solidly on the left, I don't really think that works. Now, Sam Seder being in New York City and, he was in LA and he still does voiceover work and things like that. So he knows that LA world. I've not lived in either place. I've spent time in New York City and Los Angeles, but maybe it is just the celebrity aspect of Los Angeles has caught hold of Ana Kasparian and she wants to be a part of that. I don't know.
Look, I think she, for a long time, has wanted to figure out how she could bust out of TYT. I know, oddly enough, that she was doing that show with Michael at the Jacobin, and I have a feeling like there was maybe a sense that there'd be more opportunity there if they built out that. I know Michael was planning to do a daily show with the Jacobin. I don't know what part Ana would have played in that, but maybe it was, maybe there was opportunity there, and that was an opportunity for her that obviously didn't exist after Michael passed away. And I imagine there's some frustration. And I think, look, Jimmy did a Comedy Central special, I think, 25 years ago. And
still has the same jokes if you see him live.
I would have no doubt about it. But I think, this was a way to revive his career. I mean, I know Dave Rubin, I spoke to a writer whose kid went to the same school as my kid, 5 or 10 years ago. And he said to me, oh, Dave Rubin, I wanted to talk to you about this. Dave Rubin would just harass me to write about him all the time. I think it's just a real desperation for fame, celebrity, and money. And I think this, I think after they do this for an extended period of time, it's hard. It's tiring. Sometimes you feel like, it's, people have maybe thinner skins than others, and they start to chase where they're getting clicks. I mean, to me, it's a parody. Somebody posted a parody like this when I was on Chapo years ago. we made a joke about like how we would do a right-wing turn.
We always joke about being the Trump supporting stoners.
This was like in 2016 or 17. And I was like, yeah, no, I've thought about this for years. In fact, Michael and I used to do a fake right-wing show on Halloween and on April Fools. And the reason why we did it 2 times a year was because like we so desperately wanted a break from doing, like it was like this is gonna be like a day off. Like we don't have to do anything. Like all the talking points are there. And for a long time, the joke was like, this is how I do it. And even when I got divorced, I'm like, this is it. This is my opportunity. When you get divorced, you're mad, like I'm an angry old divorce guy. And it starts with like, my wife's, making me, my ex-wife's making pay child support. And then like, it just like builds into like a broader sort of misogynistic palette. And then I realized like, and that's how
you might be the only man with the platform that dodged that bullet. I want you to know. I mean, people I would have sworn up and down were going to ride with the left until the end. Like Matt Taibbi going hysterically, right on a number of issues and then not even correcting course when the shrapnel hit Ken Clippett. I don't know. It was really ridiculous for me to watch that one. And I'm like, if Matt Taibbi is going to go down, like who the else? I mean, you and Ryan Grimm, you're like the only middle-aged dudes with principles, it feels like. Not middle-aged.
I'm older than Ryan. He would not appreciate you putting me in the same age category as him.
So I think Sam Seder is right that and I wasn't sure if he was going to talk about Ken and Kenny, but that is something that he and Michael did in the past to just parody the idea of the right wing grifters. And there definitely seems to be more money on the right. And maybe Ana Kasparian is chasing after that. Who knows? Maybe she has come to, there was some kind of epiphany. People talk about that she was attacked by a homeless person or something on the street in LA. I'm not sure exactly of that story. And that's changed her views on crime and just Los Angeles in general. I don't know why, Sam's talking here about how that she wanted to do her own show. I don't know why she couldn't just do that. I mean, I don't know about the Vanguard guys here. I mean, I don't have a platform anywhere near the size of any of these people, but I don't have a producer or anything. I mean, I'm recording this in a bedroom in my house, in a spare bedroom. So Ana Kasparian would have the tech and the knowledge and everything. She could just do a show by herself and talk about whatever she wants to. I don't know why she couldn't do that. But one thing about all of this, it's kind of the nature of the internet, this sort of Coke versus Pepsi, Marvel versus DC, Ford versus Chevy mentality, where if you like one thing, you have to hate the other similar thing. And I've watched The Majority Report and The Young Turks for a long time. I would say I probably lean a little bit more towards Sam Seder and The Majority Report, but I still like Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uygur. I mean, I get a lot of comments on my videos with people saying they hate Ana Kasparian and she's gone to the right. They used to like her, blah, blah, blah. And the same thing sometimes with Cenk, but I think both The Young Turks and Sam Seder with Sam and Emma Vigeland, and both shows have Francesca Fiorentini on there all the time. She's probably my favorite of all of them. I think there's room on the left for both of these channels and these people. I mean, they don't have to all be in lockstep with each other, but let me know what you think. Do you still, if you have watched The Young Turks and The Majority Report over the years, do you still watch and listen to both of them? Or have you given up on one or the other? Do you think that Ana Kasparian is truly making a shift to the right and it's just a grift like Jimmy Dore or Dave Rubin? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to read your comments. My channel, even though it's much smaller than channels like The Majority Report and The Young Turks, is growing pretty fastly. I've only been doing this for a few months. Fastly, I don't think that's a word. It's been growing pretty fast, pretty quickly. I've only been doing this for a few months, but if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you enjoy this content, it'll help me to grow the channel more and bring out more content like this. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.